Okay, so this module is more on talking about the cluster maintenance mode. That's primarily focused on like how we'll perform the maintenance activities, especially when we are doing kind of patching or updating the environment. And also if you want to remove the cluster, remove the host from the cluster, then talking about the upgrading and updating the vSAN environment. Okay, so almost three lessons there. The one different methods of cluster maintenance. You guys are aware a little bit of it. Then scaling your cluster, looking up for hardware replacement, upgrading and updating the vSAN cluster. Okay. So see about lesson one, where we're talking about different maintenance mode and different data evacuation options and detail how to put the host in maintenance mode, pre-check reports before putting host into maintenance mode, and write the steps for cluster shutdown and the maintenance. Okay, so especially when we talk about maintenance window, it's something like comes in mind. We want to just keep away the host temporarily from the cluster for time being and want to perform kind of some, it could be patch, it could be update, or it could be some maintenance activity. Okay, so when you put any host into maintenance, you'll get three options there. One is full data migration. Full data migration, it's more talking about the whatever the data is available into underlying data store. I would say especially the disk group, that's going to be evacuate and that's going to be placed on another host. So when you choose this option, primarily it's refer as like you want to remove that host permanently, okay, from the cluster. It means that this full data will be as per your storage policy, it will be moved out from that particular host from the underlying disk group. The next option is ensure accessibility. That is the default. Default means whenever you put in maintenance mode, the default election would be ensure accessibility. What it means is vSAN elevates the health of component on the host and uses the defined failure to tolerate storage policy to push into host into maintenance mode. It means that we are ensuring whatever data is available on this particular host when we are choosing the option ensure accessibility. It means that some of the replica of this host or maybe some redundant component is available on rest of the host, so that if for the time being it's going maintenance mode, still my data accessibility is ensuring me, yes, it's okay on the top of running VMs, whatever the data read and writes is happening, there should not be any issue at all. Then no data migration, no components will be migrated at all. Your data would be here, so it will not take care like. So it's not more preferable method until unless you are just going to destroy your cluster. Okay, so the most prominent method, especially for when we are using kind of maintenance activity, we want to bring the host back. We always prefer to go with ensure accessibility. And if in case we want to replace kind of hardware replacement or want to remove that host permanently from the cluster, then we go with the full data migration. Okay, so putting the host into maintenance mode, before that we want to check like if I will put this host in maintenance mode, my cluster would be in healthy status. What would be the healthy status? Would there be any impact? Do I have the sufficient host available? Do I have the sufficient storage capacity available before putting that host into maintenance mode? So this is something data migration check. You will go particular host, then you'll go monitor, elect your host, then you will see like, again here you will get the options. If I want to perform the full data migration, let me pre-check. What does it means? It will be checking it. If I'll perform the full data migration from this host to another host, the other hosts are okay. They have the sufficient underlying capacity into the disk group so that we can easily transfer. Same way for if we are putting in ensure accessibility as well, my rest of the nodes are okay, my cluster health is okay. So that's a kind of pre-check. Okay. So better to perform, best practices say putting host into maintenance mode, run a vSAN kind of data migration pre-check. If it's okay, then fine. Then you can put host into maintenance mode.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, okay, so in some cases, if one of the hosts are in maintenance mode, then it will fail the pre-check, sir, or it will pass, sir. Pre-check.
No, it will let you know the status like before putting host into maintenance mode. If you are
Okay.
getting some warning, some errors, it will show you here, right?
Yes, sir.
In a pre-check status. It will say green success. There's no issue you can put. Then you can go ahead and put the host into maintenance mode. And if you'll see some challenges, some errors, some warning, that point of
Mm,
time you have to remediate that first. Then start putting it again. Run the pre-check and start put your host into maintenance mode.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So full data migration that we just talked a little bit detailed slide. Move all the data of a host disk or disk group before host will be able to put in maintenance mode. Requires the cluster to contain the more host as per your storage policy requirement because you are going to remove. Like for an example, you are putting FTT1 RAID 1. You want to give this host completely out. So it means that its minimum requirement is 3. So you should have the sufficient node because you are going to fully data migration, right? So if you are putting the full data migration and you have only two nodes, then within pre-check, it will show you an error because just because you don't have the sufficient host for evacuating that data. And also like as per my storage policy, as if my requirement is minimum 3 hosts, you are going for 2 hosts, then it will not allow it, right? For the full data migration. Definitely require the number of hosts as per the storage policy we have configured. Like this is FTT1. Same way, if just for an example, we are following up FTT1 RAID 5. How many minimum nodes? 4. If you are putting this into full data migration mode and maintenance mode, will it perform at this stage? No, until unless I will have one more host so that the entire data can be evacuated. Okay, the same rule is applicable for rest of the uh, storage policies as well. Always in full data migration, it requires an additional time because my data is going to be transferred from one disk group underline one host to another disk group that is in underline of another host. Okay, provide the safest level of protection as object remain compliant entire time. No durability components created because we don't need to recreate or something because my entire components going to migrate to another host. Okay, so what's a safest way of putting the host into maintenance mode? But like if
Time will consume more.
yeah, if you want to remove that host, this is the best way of doing it. Otherwise, if you want to put in maintenance mode, still you can do full data migration, but it always requires some time because your data will be pushed to another host to evacuate that. Okay, so then we talk about ensure accessibility. When we say ensure accessibility, just again an example here. If with RAID 1 FTT1 will go, it will create one C1 component, another mirrored component, and a witness. For an example, we are going to put host into maintenance mode with an option ensure accessibility. It means that is this C2, that time this host in maintenance mode will be replaced by this delta. Okay, it means that this is my temporary C2 for the time being original C2 come back. Okay, so corresponding data, whenever the data will be right, the corresponding data being written here as a delta data. Okay, so what we refer as object repair time. Object repair time means is what is the time we are expecting that host will be bring out from the maintenance mode and will be online. So the default time is 60 minutes, but if we thought of like it will take more time as compared to 6 minutes, we can even increase this time. But if you feel like my host can be come back in a healthy state within 60 minutes, any kind of patch activities and all will happen within 60 minutes, then it's okay. But if you looks like it can take more time, so you can increase the object repair time that point of time. Okay. So what will happen if the host doesn't come back within the repair time? Like for an example, my object repair time is 60 minutes, but still I'm looking for my host doesn't come back within this time. That point of time, this delta will not be the further delta. Okay. So it will sync completely. So it is not a half kind of component C2, it will become the entire C2. Entire C2 doesn't means that if this C2 was maintaining before in maintenance mode 30 GB data, and it's having delta like 10 GB now, then it will become 30 plus 10. Okay. Then if you'll ask me, sir, what it will be like if my host come back after 60 minutes, 80 minutes, or maybe 90 minutes, just don't worry. So what it need to do, it will remove the C2 completely from here. And as per your policy, maybe it will put some data from fresh. Okay. We clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Sir,
Okay.
where we can change the value, sir? 60 minutes to 120, where we have option, that object repair option.
So it's in monitor itself, and you can
Oh,
vSAN. Yeah,
okay.
from their default object repair time, it will show the 60 minute. We can increase that. Okay.
Okay, okay, yes, sir. Okay. Monitor,
Just
sir.
let me just
Oh,
one moment. Let me just, if are we here? Will we have to start anything so far? It may take some time, but let
oh,
me try. Yeah, something different.
sir, in your YouTube channel, you have covered SRM also, sir. Site recovery.
Sir, I'm not so far.
Oh, oh,
Maybe
oh,
near
oh.
in future I'll be adding that.
Okay. Oh,
Okay, I'll show you. Don't worry about it. Okay,
yeah, okay, sir.
but I'm sure you can increase this object repair time.
Okay.
It's a maximum limit is there, but not for what. But yeah, you can go beyond that. In case of especially Delhi MC VxRail, we talk about this time autumn, like during when you will start the kind of VxRail patching, that goes up to 360 minutes by default. You don't need to even change that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because in single downtime we can do bias somewhere and yes, except good three we can do.
Yeah, that's a one window for putting all
Yes,
hardware, software, everything.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it always create the durability component. Okay. The host does not exit maintenance mode by the time of object rebuild time elapse. It will start to resync the entire data. If there is an FTT 0 RAID 0 object, migrate them to another host. Definitely, even in ensure accessibility, like ensure accessibility is good in case of FTT1 RAID 1 because I have another two component and also it will start to create. But if there is some component reside with FTT0 RAID 0, because it will not have any redundant component. So what it will do? It will definitely need to migrate somewhere because policy FTT0 RAID 0 doesn't create any redundant component, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so no data migration, you pretty well aware what happens. So if in case a particular VM is dependent on FTTT to FTT0 RAID 0 policy, in that case, if I put an host with no data migration stage, that you will find those VM will not be accessible no more because that will have a single component. But the policy with FTT1 RAID 1 VMs are running, those will still keep on running Just because of that, if you put without no data migration, okay, you have an host, so no problem because you are still live with two other component. Got it? And again, it will create delta for the time being. Again, if this host is not coming back, that's same time, like 60 minutes or something like that. If it's not coming back within the object repair time, it will completely create the C2. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But no data migration, again, as I said, it's not a preferable method at all.
Mm.
So that time we have to be a little bit careful, like what kind of policy is being there. And if I am putting kind of full data migration, maybe the data. So one important thing here is if uh, you are taking ensure accessibility that point of time, it's delta. For some of the components, you will find the warning symbol when you will monitor your vSAN. Why? Because temporarily your 30 GB is not mirrored copy of 30 GB is not available, right? Still it have the original copy here, but mirror copy of 30 GB is not available. So for of the component before putting this host in maintenance mode, like total size is 30 GB, they will show you warning symbol till the time your host not bring back from the maintenance mode and properly accessible. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So you don't
But
need to be
we can
worried
ignore
about.
that warning, sir. That time
Yeah, yeah,
till the
definitely,
mm.
definitely, yeah. So when we put host in maintenance mode, my by default option is ensure accessibility. However, I will from the arrow key, I can choose another option also, like evacuate data or no data. No action means no data migration. Okay. If we want to change the default action, like we want to keep it kind of full data migration, evacuate all data doesn't, it means that is full data migration. So you can go in advanced setting of your host, configure vSAN default decommission mode. Is this? You can change it as full data migration. But still you don't need to be very like this is the default option, but still you have an option to change it as kind of evacuate all data or no action. Normally people don't make any change here. So vSAN cluster shutdown, shutting down the cluster, like you are shutting down entire cluster. Maybe later on you want to restart, especially when you are doing kind of shutdown. Maybe could be permanent shutdown, or maybe you are just doing lift and shift of
Planned
your
activity. Yeah.
hosts,
Mm.
yeah, from one place to another place, rebuilding it, reset it up, and you can restart again. So for that, if you want to perform this normal, I mean kind of manual step, it will do health check, manually power off all the VMs, turn off HA, check resync complete, power off vCenter, disable your cluster membership, login host, run Python script for this, and place all host in maintenance mode, power off all the host. It's a manual method. But I mean, nobody will go for these number of steps. It's simple, like you will go vSAN, okay, shut down, pre-check, next, and finish. And your cluster will be, your cluster in backend going to
Okay.
perform all these tasks, right? But it's
Yes.
not pretty much repetitive exercise, you know very well, like, okay, until unless it's a major requirement, like we want to do the hardware lift and shift as it is in as it is state, okay. Then vSAN cluster restart is again, it will do the graceful shutdown. When we say graceful shutdown, it will shut down all the components and just start up, bring back to the entire cluster. That's what in restart, okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, in shutdown, like that, we have start also, like, sir. Start
Uh,
recent. Suppose we want activities completed. Okay, we want
After
to bring all
shutdown,
those.
you will, yeah,
No, powering on.
yes. So vSAN cluster shutdown logs, like shutdown logs, if later on your vCenter is started again, you can check there, okay, in vCenter health, orchestration host, ESXi host. And if you wanna go in CLI mode from the VC support on vCenter, VM support on ESXi. GUI also, it create the logs in vSphere client. Right click on vCenter cluster and choosing the upload support bundle. Okay, when you will click choosing upload support bundle, then there you will get the list, and yeah, so you can capture the respective required logs information. Yeah, that's it from the first lesson. Then scaling up of vSAN cluster, or maybe where we are performing the hardware upgrade or hardware replacement. Let's look in this lesson. So when we say cluster scaling can be done in two methods. First is scale up and second is scale out. When we talk about scale up, it means that you are increasing some storage capacity uh, in existing disk groups. That is scale up, and scale out means instead of increasing the local capacity, local disk on the host, you are just trying to adding new hosts in your vSAN, right? So from scale up perspective, how much we can go maximum? We have discussed it many times already. 5 cache, 35 capacity drive, 5 disk group, 1 to 7 capacity drive. And from a scale out perspective, it supports the maximum limit of your vSphere, that is your 64 hosts. Okay. So for any kind of scale up or the scale out activity, do we need any maintenance window? Do we need shutdown or something restart? Nothing like that. That's you can do a kind of hot plug and play. Like for an example, if you onboard a new hard disk in your host, okay, if they are using kind of flash, so that will show under the disk of unclaimed disk, right? Under the category of unclaimed disk, you are going to claim that, okay? But the important thing, what we have to do, we have to do kind of the homogeneous activity on all, right? If we are adding one capacity disk on one host, then we have to add the equivalent capacity disk for another hosts as well. Okay. So this is how, especially specific to scale up activities, you can perform. Again, how many per host? How many disk groups per host?
7 disk, 5 description.
5 disk groups, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Mm.
And how many disk could be reside in one disk group?
7,
Total 8.
8, 8.
One cache
Yes, sir. Yes.
plus
Okay. Yes,
7
yes.
capacity.
Yeah, yes, sir.
One cache, 7 capacity, one cache, 7 capacity, right?
Yes, sir.
And when
Yes,
you
sir.
perform scale out activity, scale out means we are adding another host, but definitely we have to keep in mind the all prerequisite, all my VMK port should be configured, vMotion port should be configured, right? And the equivalent number of disks should be available when we are adding the multiple hosts in my existing cluster, right? So we have seen last time, like when we are adding a host, my disk by default in the unclaimed state, go ahead and just start claiming the disk on the basis of standards. We are following up with the rest of the host. When we say following up the standard, means that like if there is 2 disk group per host, then also we have to create the 2 disk groups per host say here. Okay. So that is my whole storage architecture. But when we talk about ESA, in ESA, when you will claim the disk, there is no election of cache and capacity, right? And no,
Yes, sir.
not kind of disk group. You will simply go ahead and just claim the disk. So all disk will be added kind of within the disk group. Not kind of disk group again. There is no disk group at all concept. So is there any limitation of disks in ESA? No.
No, sir.
There's
No.
a scale out architecture, right? When we say scale out, especially from this perspective, on the basis of your desire, your environment planning, till the level of the hard limit, we could say like it's depend upon my hardware manufacturer, how many disks those are supporting, right? But ESA does not make any limit from software perspective. All right. So now let us see how do we replace kind of the failure disk. So a failure could happen on my capacity drive or the cache drive. Correct? Correct? It could
Correct.
be failure.
Yes, sir. It can be happening by anyway.
So,
Oh, yes,
yeah.
both
So
ways.
what will happen if this group is presenting one capacity, two capacity, three capacity, four capacity, and one cache drive?
Yes, sir.
Just assume a scenario where this got failure. Could be failure. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what will happen to this disk group, or what will happen to the components were deciding inside the disk? So
Since we
if there,
configured RAID, okay, so
hmm,
the data will be migrated to the other node. So
yeah,
there won't be much impact since we have redundancy. Only the disk will be degraded.
we consider it's a disk degraded state.
Yes, yes, sir.
Degraded means that we are considering it's a kind of failure state.
Failure. Mm.
The component residing on this disk will be start for rebuilding, kind of creating the new component on rest of the disks, okay, available inside this disk group. Okay, just bring up the new disk, remove the failure one, and add the new disk in your cluster,
Yes, sir.
in your host particularly, right? So what will happen? Again, this disk group will be rebalanced. So a new components will be starting to resyncing up to the new disk.
So it's a kind of automatic. We
It's an
just need to
automatic.
we
Correct.
just need to replace the new disk. That's it. No other
Right.
actions.
Do we need any maintenance window for it? No,
Not required, but safe
we
side we
don't.
can put it for
Okay.
data migration.
Yeah, because again, if we'll put the maintenance window, then this host will go entire in maintenance mode, right?
Yes, sir. Of
So
course,
we
so it's
don't need.
online activity. Okay.
So then replacing the cache drive. So again, if I'll take an example here, this is my cache drive and these are my capacity drive. This cache got failure by XYZ region. What will happen with this capacity of this group? Like for an example, all these disk was 40. Cache got failure. So what would impact in my environment? So this would be again a entire, it will factor as an entire disk group failure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All these 40B will start it to rebuild to another available hosts and their disk groups, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, what we need to do? Definitely, we will replace the faulty disk with the new disk. Okay. But in that case, we have to remove the entire disk group and
Okay.
we have to
Rebuild disk group.
rebuild again the entire disk group. So that's the main difference. If capacity disk failure, only that capacity will reduce. But if cache will got failure, entire disk group will consider as degraded state. The component will be rebuilt on another host and we have to recreate the disk group again. Right?
Okay, sir.
Clear?
But no data will lost, sir. That will be till we replace data. The data will be safe, right? But whatever 4 TB,
it it
everything.
matters. It matters on your storage policy.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay.
FTT1 or
If FTT1 RAID 1, you are safe. But if it's kind of for some of the component, it is FTT0 RAID 0, then you will lose.
yes, yes. Okay.
Correct? Because it's not a maintenance, it's a direct failure.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
But we should always keep an eye alerting system for
Yeah,
all this
normally people don't
mainly for.
usually see FTT0 RAID 0 is only for the workload. We are assuming this could be failing. There wouldn't be any impact, kind of test server or that, right?
Correct, sir.
Replacing the host, the entire host replacement, what we'll do? What is the best option like? Place the host into maintenance mode, full data migration, because we are replacing the entire host. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If there are no enough host available, then ensure accessibility option for the time. If we don't have the new host for the time, then we can choose ensure accessibility option as well. Okay. To replace the host, place host maintenance mode, full data migration. So it means that is like if I want to put this maintenance mode, I have onboarded this new host, full data migration. The data is available, it will be migrated to this host, right?
Yes,
Delete
sir.
this group, remove the host from cluster, add new host, and create the new disk group. Correct?
So the time the data will be copied to new host, sir. Ah,
Why not?
okay. Mm.
If it is available.
Ah,
That's my point.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why I've chosen the full data migration.
Correct, correct.
So you can easily, uh, like once full data migration will happen, maintenance mode, delete this group, remove the host, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we good with the scaling,
Yes, sir.
or for an example,
But
if
only drawback is in FTT 0 RAID 0. If we in one case the host goes down means it's hard to retrieve the data, right, sir? Because
here you are
we will
talking.
not keep data in full data migration because lack of space.
No, 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 no. Even in FTT0, see,
Okay, yes, sir.
it's a maintenance mode options, right? It means that just assume you have three nodes for the
Yes, sir.
time.
Okay.
Here some component with FTT0, RAID 0.
Hmm.
If you choose full data migration, it will always
One.
do full
Okay.
data migration. You will choose ensure accessibility.
Okay.
It means that the component in FTT1, RAID 1, they are somewhere already mirrored.
Correct. Correct.
But
Okay.
still, within ensure accessibility option, if you are have some FTT0, RAID 0, it will still migrate those. Because otherwise, you put in maintenance mode, that will be lost. For FTT0, RAID 0 component, putting in maintenance mode, there would be always migration in both the state. Either it is full data migration or it is the ensure data accessibility, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one important thing I want to discuss, that's fine. So if in case we talk another component, kind of memory failure, or maybe you'll getting some CPU failure alert, maybe motherboard change,
Or
that may be
piece or
situation, right?
issue. Hmm.
Correct. So there is some situation where we need the host need to be restart mandatory. है ना? Could
Yes, sir.
be,
When
right?
piece or issue also comes up.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yeah.
Easily changing one of the memory component, maybe one of the socket, right? So that point of time, putting host in maintenance mode is mandatory. Also disable the monitoring. Okay. Before putting in maintenance, there is a tab in host, right? Disable monitoring, right? Then bring up your part, shut down that properly, replace your component, and start that host. When you restart again, it will be in the maintenance mode, and then exit it from maintenance mode. If you feel this whole activity could be done within 60 minutes, that's all too good. And
Correct.
whenever is always a restart option you are feeling, then setting in vSAN itself enhance the kind of boot time. What it means that enhancing boot time means normal process take the regular boot time, but it will do enhance. It will not do kind of post initial check and all. It will start your host as soon as possible. It will reduce the actual post time and all because that's already you are confirmed with that, right?
Where
Yeah.
we can see the options are enhance and boot option.
Yeah, I'll show you in vSAN
Yeah.
component.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Because I never tried that option.
Mhm.
So, sir, for this memory activity and all, we can, if this activity is going into complete in 6 minutes, we can keep ensure accessibility, right, sir? And for maintenance purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Any maintenance activity, default object repair time is 60
Six
minutes.
minutes.
But
Okay.
if you still feel that not come back within 60 minutes, you can increase that. Or even you will not increase, still you are safe. I mean, it doesn't mean that if host will not come within 60 minutes, you will be lost. No, data will
The
not
data
move.
will move to other nodes. Yes, sir. It will
Not
happen
move
full
actually.
data
No, no.
migration that time.
No, no, sir. It will not move actually. When you do ensure accessibility,
Okay.
see, when you configure kind of ensure accessibility,
Yes,
you
sir.
have three nodes here. You are using FTT1 RAID 1 kind of policy. What it means? Any component is returned here, a redundant component, a witness
Mm.
component, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You are putting ensure accessibility here. Okay.
Mm.
It means that whatever component here in FTT1 RAID 1, they have already safe, correct?
Yes, sir.
And if any component in FTT0 RAID 0, the components will be migrated definitely because they don't have the redundancy, correct?
Mm. Correct, sir.
Now, within this scenario, if you have the fourth host, one moment.
Okay, sir.
Hello? Logic. So, if I the delta will be available here that time.
Yes, sir. Mm.
Okay? So, like till 60 minute delta will be created here. But if
Mm.
within 60 minutes it will not come back, don't worry. This delta will convert as an entire complete means plus 10 GB plus if 30 GB is here, this 30 GB will be start creating here. Okay.
Yes,
But
sir.
for the better shape, just to reduce this time at all, what will do feel it will come more than 60 minutes. It can take. I'll increase my
Timer.
repair time.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what I thought, okay, sir, earlier, so it will wait for 60 minutes. If the data, if the host did not come on limits,
No,
it
no, no,
will
no.
migrate all the objects to the other available node, which is
No,
off.
no.
Okay.
See, data will start recreating. It will not
Yes, sir.
migrate because
Mm.
if you putting on the host in maintenance mode, that's away for the time being for maintenance activity. Correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will
So for
recreate it.
yes, for upgrading any vSAN cluster, the right sequence is the native sequence that you will follow. First, you will upgrade your vCenter, ESXi, and then disk format. The disk format you'll find from disk. When you'll upgrade it, like for an example, today you are on 7.x, 7.x, 7.x. You are planning for 8, upgrade it 8.0, 8.0. Then within Skyline, and you will get a prompt automatically just to upgrade the disks format. Now the question comes, uh, you know very well, the vCenter upgrade could be some downtime for the management console. ESXi host, it's a kind of one by one. Your cluster will not be impacted at all. Disk format, does it require any maintenance window? Does it require host in maintenance mode shutdown or something like that? No, it's
No,
pretty
no, sir.
straightforward. Just,
Online activity.
yeah, in Skyline help, you will get a prompt. Under disk format, you will be getting warning. Just click and upgrade. That's it. Okay. But if in case we have a stretch cluster, in stretch cluster, one more component in picture, that is your witness host, right?
Yes, sir.
Before you upgrade this, you upgrade witness host first. So
Okay, okay.
your witness should be on the same version, on the version your ESXi are using.
Okay. This I got this one in our interview question, sir. He asked me in witness node, in witness situation means stage cluster, how
Yeah.
you do the upgrades. Okay.
Yeah. So witness upgrade is also mandatory. Otherwise, like just because of mismatch of versions, I'll be getting a start warning that time.
So that time we have to do the witness host upgrade first and do the normal.
Then we send table,
This,
right?
yeah. Yes, sir. Main prerequisite we should remember.
So exactly. For upgrading your ESXi setup, you can use the VLCM. Okay, VLCM is your earlier it was one update manager.
Yes, sir.
Then it's
In
VLCM.
7.0
VLCM give a
LCM.
little bit more advanced version kind of generate baseline group, add your image, create your custom images just to add certified vendors, ISO add-ons. Okay.
And we can do this like a VX rail, right, sir? It will do automatically one after one of the roast.
Yeah, for if actually it's VxRail based, then there is no significance of VLCM because within VxRail, that's a complete bundle actually. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that will perform your VxRail Manager, vCenter, ESXi, hardware plus software both. So that's a one bundle actually that you have to put, and it will take care of one by one all the component in the backend.
Yes, sir.
But here, if it's a non-VxRail environment, you have to do one by one. First, your vCenter server. From where you will do vCenter server upgrade?
We'll download the ECSA and do
Uh,
WAMI. Yeah, WAMI console. Yes, sir.
You will do from WAMI or you can
Yes,
do from Putty SSH.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then you will make the baseline for your ESXi host,
Correct.
import the right image, and perform the upgrade one by one.
And
Okay.
drivers.
Yeah. So then,
Sir, when we do the upgrade for this sorry, the vSAN cluster,
hmm,
the format and all automatically gets upgraded, right? Or we need to
disk
like
table you have to upgrade.
this format
Yeah, you have to do it later.
manually later. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Actually, automatically in your Skyline help, when you will click on disk setting in disk format, warning will pop up. Then
okay,
you can just click upgrade disk format. That's it.
okay, okay, sir.
That's a matter of a click only. All right. So where do we need the VLCM support for vSAN stretch cluster as well? So where do we need witness in case of two node or in case of we are using a stretch cluster across two availability zone?
Yes, sir.
As I said, in that point of time, once you upgrade vCenter, ESXiOS, then you have to upgrade your witness appliance also. For witness appliance, because it's an individual, right? It's just one,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have to find the respective ISO from the VMware site and you have to perform it simply like we do a native ESXi upgrade. Mount the ISO, okay, and just start booting
Upgrading.
from that ISO.
Mm.
All right, that's what I was talking about. Enable quick boot. You were asking me from where.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
Enhanced boot. Yes, sir. Mm.
when you are mounting the image, exploring, then from there itself you can select enable quick boot. Suspend the memory state. Suspend memory state means is when it will do kind of power state. Whatever the component was in the host when you are putting in maintenance mode, those would be in a suspended state. The host will come. The host's memory component will resume from that place.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, sir. This is new one which I have not heard. Mm.
Yeah. So this is something best practices you should follow. Then here's the lab. Release
Yes,
the
sir.
host for temporary maintenance mode. Decommission a host that we have shown last time. Delete the entire disk group to create it back. Evacuate host. Okay. Evacuate of host. Better to we go for full data migration. Okay. And then these are some labs we will going to perform all together. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So guys, let me just see whatever the options are available. I feel it's
Okay.
only the
Resume. Extend.
extend is already there. Yeah. We should return.
Okay. 1 hour.
Let me
One.
see what are the options are available here because even I did walk through with this. So you guys probably hearing like nowadays this AI, generative AI is in very much trend, right? Where you are
Yes, sir.
leveraging these
Yes, sir.
features, you are fastening your kind of environment by using these kind of features. Huh? So guys, you can spend some time here, yeah. Advanced lab, yeah, this one. vSAN for beginner. You can do it as well. This is the simple one. I think we were here. What I see. Okay, start advanced topics. It should be here. Let me see. Mhm.
I noted
You
last time,
were
so you given
here, right?
vSAN. Yes, a lightning lab
Yeah,
earlier given, sir.
yeah. Let me see.
220891
Let me
HCA.
see the TOC of this, if what it's covering at all.
Mm-hmm.
It is SPBM, storage policy base. You can apply. Okay, license and all. Scale out vSAN environment, advanced policy, reserved capacity, scale in. Yeah, you can walk through with this as well. Then capacity validation performance. This is the one. Module 3, na? Maintenance, VLCM, conclusion. Okay. And encryption also, yeah. I mean, most of the thing we have already covered, but yes, you can spend some time here as well. But especially from this section, what we could see here, SPBM is there, scale out is there, scale is there, reserve capacity kind of thing. Okay. Health check monitoring, you can spend some time. Module 3, you can do completely, right? Let me just unshare my screen back. There are many. Okay. So depend like how much time you want to spend, you can. This is the one we were doing, right? Then here is one advanced lab. This is the one where we were, okay, getting started. This is the one another advanced topics.
Yes, sir.
Let me see what are the contents are available here. So there, file services, you can spend some time here. Okay, NFS and all. Abhi, see what happening. They are doing a lot of upgrades in the back end. Reason is being you will not get a specific console. Sometime you will jump. Sometime you will see this Pathfinder. Sometimes you will see that HOL console. So they are fixing in this whole thing in the back end. Stretch cluster as well. You can spend some time here as well. How to build and all. So that before you do an actual lab, you can spend some time and you will be learn. So do spend some time here also, right? This is NFS here and all. So I will stop the recording for now.